Hello everyone, it's Jazz. It's the West Ham Minds channel. It's finished Fulham 5, West Ham United nil. Hammer Horror Show, big thrashing, played off the park. I mean, I know I haven't been impressed with West Ham most of this season, and like I mentioned at the Spurs result, I followed football for a lot of years, and I think the team's pretty shit, but I don't know how we're that high in the league table. I don't know how we won that Spurs game. I don't know how we've won a lot of games this season. It just goes over my head. I mean, we hardly in possession of the ball. We hardly create anything. We don't really play good football. Just play that same way. And I think today's result is kind of wake up time for some of you out there who are Moyes in. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's up and down. Football's up and down. You win one week, you draw one week, you lose one week. But what's been consistent with people who kind of know their football or think they know, like we follow West Ham for a lot of years, we're definitely pretty certain that Moyes has kind of peaked and taken as far as he can. And yeah, you could see even today, I mean, in the second half, I mean, there's not much on the bench. That again is down to him. He's been around 8, 9, 10 windows. He's chosen kind of, just stick to his 11, 12 favourite players. And then even people like Ben Rama, people like Cornet, Mabuma, they're not really trusted by him. They don't really have a good relationship with the manager, I don't think. So when they are used, it's kind of often too late. It's kind of not in the right way and not in the right formation or right game. And you can see that Ben Rama was consistently shit as ever. Mabuma just brought in too late and not often enough this season for me. Cornet, I don't know what the hell's going on. If we play like that and Cornet can't get in, that's fucking mind-boggling for me. Again, it is a big thing. We don't play with a striker, and I know Bowen has chipped in with kind of a good sort of range of goals. But you can just see what the issue is, and yeah, I think this result was always round the corner. We seem to do well against teams that have most of the possession or dominate, and we hit them on the break. And perhaps teams like Fulham and other teams where we are kind of on equal par with them, we should have more possession or the same possession as them. We don't really create anything. We don't move the ball around quick. We don't counter-attack quick. I don't even know how much pace is in our team. Like how fast is Kudos? He can't show it, can he? We don't play football like that. We're kind of sideways, backwards, slow build up, set pieces driven. So we don't even know how good a lot of those players are because I think they're kind of underplayed in a lot of situations, really. I mean, Marco Silva is a manager that I've often kind of liked in recent times, really. He doesn't have that much money at Fulham. I think he plays football the right way. He gets a lot out of his players. I mean, pound for pound, we should beat Fulham. And to be fair, David Moyes has had a good record against Fulham. And this is, I think, Fulham's first win in about 11, 12, 13, 14 games against West Ham. But the same problems, wasn't it, everyone? I mean, I've got nothing personal against David Moyes. I don't take great joy of today and let's have a go at him. It is the players out there as well. Agard, again, I've just had enough of that guy. He's absolutely dog shit. Was it the first goal or second? He just stands there like an idiot, and Craswell was having to mark two of them. It's just Agard needs to be taken out of the team and recoached because I don't think his head is there. And what's all this zonal marking about? It means I mark a space, you mark a space, but if an opposition player doesn't get into that space, you're not going to mark him because how often we can see the goal, we look at the replays and no one's actually picked that player up. More than often than not, he's between the two defenders. So the defenders are marking empty spaces instead of picking a player up, if I'm right. I mean, I'm not an expert, but from what I can gather, it's just fucking weird. What is this zonal marking about? Agard and Zuma are our main central defenders, and they definitely, at least they need to pick up the main striker of the opposition, always. And they don't. You look at all the goals conceded, you often see Kofal is marking their best striker, Emerson isn't in the frame, Kresi was in the frame for one of those first goals, wasn't he? And Agard and Zuma are just standing there, not marking anyone. They're obviously there in the box, but they're not picking anyone up. And okay, it was a good fine delivery, wasn't it, for that goal? I get that, but at least show some. And And if it was a one-off, it's a one-off. But Agard is consistently just does nothing for me. I mean, some of the balls up to Bowen. Bowen's a small player, isn't he? At no point just hoofing it in the air for Bowen. He can't do it. And I don't know why Bowen played. He should have been taken off earlier than that. I think he had a bit of a niggle. Got a lot of games coming up. And I do get it. I mean, we played on Thursday. We're playing today. It's ridiculous, you know. But then that's the squad, isn't it? This is the time of the season that makes the difference in how good your squad is. And David Moyes, definitely by choice, does not fully utilise his squad. He doesn't like to sign players, takes ages mulling over who he wants in. The bench is very much neglected. He hates making substitutions. And when the first 11 suffer like today, you can see there's nothing on the bench. And even in the second half, I think Fulham dominated more in the second half than the first half, and that's a team that's 3-0 up, and we're playing worse. You figure that way out. And then he brings Mavropanos on, plays like 3 central defenders, wing backs. We done nothing in the whole game. Kudos was virtually non-existent. We missed Alvarez. I think Paqueta again didn't quite do his defensive duties as much as he should have. But the key question for me, everyone, before I go in the comments, is we're all confused. I'm not. I think we're pretty shit. And I've said that consistently, right? But a lot of fans are confused. How good or bad are we? That league table, does it really sort of highlight the real issue? Are we really that good? That we could have gone 6 today? Have we really played that good? Are we or are we not? Oh, I think we're not that good. I don't think we are that good. And December traditionally is not good for West Ham. And I think we're going to find that we're going to struggle. And even that interview after the Tottenham game, you know, I kept telling you, Les Ferdinand asked David Moyes, David, Bowen is doing okay up front, but are you looking for that number 9 in the window? And he basically said, we'll try, but we don't think there's anyone out there for us. Everyone's after number 9. I mean, what kind of fucking message is that to the fans? You know, Bowen, okay, yeah, always says the right things. I like playing up front. I don't mind helping out. Got a good amount of goals. That's fine. But we all know we need to buy 1 or 2 strikers at a minimum. At least they can be on the bench. I mean, it's strikers' DNA. I mean, that Solanke yesterday, I mean, I've been bashing about him since the season began. That boy's in shit hot form. He's a proper striker. Have a look at one of those finishes against Man United. There's no way a non-striker can score like that. This is what it's about, right? And this is, when you look at the league table and you miss European places or 1 or 2 things by a few points here and there, it's kind of because, yeah, your squad's not been there. Injuries have caught up with you in the winter months. The pitches get heavy. And this is what it's all about. And it's just drives us mad, really. Agard for me, issue. Silva, I think I'm very impressed with him, everyone. We need a striker. Bench was shit. What the fuck's going on with Cornet? Why hasn't he used Mbuma more often? How good or bad are we? Ben Rama has totally lost it for me. No second plan, everyone. No second plan. No second formation, really. Can't really change it when that same shit thing doesn't work. Alvarez, we missed him. Krezi, he went off second half. Didn't know what to make out of him, to be fair. Zonal marking and Paqueta. Let's go into the chat. It's kind of really hard to do this show, to be fair, to be motivated. Robert's there. Robert, how you doing, mate? You all right? Yeah, Joe. It is embarrassing, isn't it? With respect, I mean, Fulham's a lovely club, lovely ground, lovely area, great set of fans, great history. But we should be doing better than losing 5-0 to Fulham, isn't it? Absolutely right, Alexander. It's again, it's the fans out there. They've made the effort. Trains are not always running. Public transport on a Sunday is awful. Really bad weather out there, miserable, raining, and there's nothing there for the fans, is there? It is, mate. And I think we are shit, Joe. I think we are shit. I don't care if we are in the top 10. We beat Tottenham. We're in Europe. We're in the Carling Cup quarterfinals. We got a good draw in the F. I get all that. We won the cup. I get that, but deep down, there is an issue there, isn't there? Deep down. And even pundits who really, really know their football, even they don't understand how Tottenham had 90% possession most of the game. And we've got the points. Tottenham can't understand it. And as a West Ham fan, I don't know how we're getting results. And then today you can see that, yeah, it could be due to playing Thursday, having only 2 days rest. But there's just nothing there. I mean, if we can't even rest any players because he doesn't want to play anyone else. He just wants to kill those 11 into the ground. He's got to change it up, you know. You've got to change it up. I think we've been lucky in a lot of the games, Benson. You know, I don't get no joy out of doing today's show. Trust me, I don't. It's a horror show. It's very poor entertainment. just one plan, one formation, nothing on the bench. And second half, you thought Fulham are going to at least relax a bit. They're 3-0. Fulham went for the fourth and fifth. And we were playing worse in the second half than in the first half. You figured that out. Really, really. No plan B, mate. Absolutely right, steady hands. Absolutely right, mate. Yeah, Wazim, hope you're doing good, man. That was pretty poor, wasn't it, mate? Very, very poor. Very, very poor. Yeah, I mean, the thing with Fulham is obviously they're trying to play football in the right way. They move it around fairly quick. They've got really, really good players, especially Paulinho in the middle. And they're doing the best of what they've got. And I like their manager. He's always played attractive, quick football. He's quite a personality on the touchline. He kind of motivates the players. He cares. He rubs off on the fans, that kind of thing, really. And you saw David Moyes at half-time. He's just miserable little face. And then his assistant manager, I mean, he wouldn't motivate me to do anything, mate. It's just nothing there. Nolan just staring into space. There's just nothing there, isn't it, really? Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah, Bowen will always try. It gives 100%. But as a manager, you gotta understand your players, their physical condition they're in, and how to. Obviously, like I always said, it's a great team spirit. We always try, but there's a thing called coaching. You need to coach your players sometimes. You need to motivate them sometimes. You need to change it around sometimes. You need to change the formation against certain clubs. It just doesn't do it. It's virtually, yeah. I mean, I don't know what's happened with Alvarez. He's probably picked up an injury because he wasn't on the bench. I don't know why Emerson was on the bench. He's been one of our best players this season. Very, very odd, some of the things going on. Very, very odd. Yeah, you could definitely hear us, mate, in good voice in that small traditional ground. I don't really want a Potter, mate. Again, Potter, he doesn't really come with any type of personality for me, mate. And if you remember, as Brighton manager, the managers of Brighton are not responsible for buying players, which I judge a manager on quite a lot. They're given a set of players, then they have to coach them. But even at Chelsea, mate, I didn't see any personality. I didn't see what he was trying to achieve there, mate. And he's still out of a job for a reason, perhaps. Not really Potter for me, mate. I think, again, like I said, the scouts have got to be looking at a young manager who's got a really good way of playing football. He's kind of brave. And I'll go back to Spurs manager again. Someone like him, he's lifted a whole crowd. Spurs are still behind him. Obviously, he's only had one transfer window. Their manager, he'll do well in the couple of windows to come, really. So you got to be a bit braver. And we weren't braver in the second half, were we? I mean, you brought on a central defender and a left back, and you're looking to get back in the game. Again, you can see he hasn't got any options. He doesn't trust Cornet. He doesn't trust Ben Rama. He doesn't trust Mbuma. He's messed it up with Danny Ings. I mean, the list goes on and on. He doesn't help himself, does he? I mean, it's absolutely shit show. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how far Antonio is from getting fit. My worry is that obviously I do want Antonio to come back, but we just have to get that striker in at a minimum, as well as other. We have to get players out. If Cornet ain't going to feature, if Ben Rama is finished. Fornals, again, he just didn't offer anything. He went off. I mean, I think I would have given him an extension. Otherwise, he would have gone on a free transfer. There's so many players that the money is being wasted because we're not selling them, we're not using them. It's idle cash sitting on the bench that we got to recycle the money. We got to get everything out, every single squad player. That's why I like even people like Arteta. Look how many times he changes formations, brings players on so early when they're looking for a goal, and then changes it again when they're trying to defend. They've got a squad for a reason, and all those players get used regularly. They kind of change it around quite a lot. We don't do anything. And if you keep playing out of form or tied players week in, week out, the result's going to be the same. You're going to pick up injuries. They're just not going to look sharp, and that's what you see in the training. That is David Moyes and the coach's job. When West Ham trained yesterday, if they did, you can see who's up for it, who's not. Of course, a player's not going to come up to a manager and say, I'm not feeling quite right, or I'm a bit tired, or I'm carrying a knock. People like Bowen are honest, they want to play, but it's up to the manager to give Fulham respect, see how they're going to set up, do your homework, and change it, tweak it around a bit. I would have given Moyes more respect if he did play with 3 centre backs at the beginning, wing backs, and it didn't work out. But I would have said that at least he tried something new. He must have seen something against Fulham to change it. But to keep playing 4-2-3-1, especially with players not in the right positions, it's absolutely mental. And you're gonna get days like today. Absolutely, mate. It's zonal marking, Rene. I think it's zonal marking. Every time a cross or a corner comes into our half, no one's picking no one up. And like I said, there's a lot of bodies in that area. And more often than not, have a look at the goals we concede. Their players are unmarked. Or there's too many players in front of the goalkeeper and he often can't see the shot. There's often deflections because there's too many bodies at the back and they're not doing anything. So no one knows who's picking anyone up. That's why you see them getting in each other's way, or you see them not in that space at all. It's kind of irregular. You got your flat back four. You need to tell all of them who to pick up. Or at least Zuma, being a CDM and captain, he needs to marshal and organise that defence clearly. Zuma, more often than not, should pick up Jimenez, because he's their striker, he's their number one, and then Agard will pick up their second best forward, and vice versa all the way to the fullbacks, and then if we do have a lot of height in like Souček, then he can mark the near post. It's easy. Here we ain't got a clue, and then Kresi's ending up marking two fucking players by himself, and he's the smallest guy on the pitch. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think Kresi did have an argument with Agard shortly after that goal was conceded, and Agard wasn't understanding what was going on. So Kresi was kind of pointing fingers at him and telling him what he wants out of him, and it's absolutely mad. Yeah, big gap between there was no... It wasn't fluid. There was no link between the defence, midfield and up front. They're not playing together as a team. Kudus was isolated. Paqueta wasn't really doing... He should have done a more responsible CDM job today because Alvarez wasn't here. So I don't know who... Was Fornells trying to be Alvarez? I didn't see it. Very open at the back, mate. And yeah, and not enough connection with the forward. So when we attacked, there was a point where Bowen just stopped going up front. He went on the wing. They tried to push Kudus up front in the second half. It just didn't happen, mate. We had nothing up front. We had no CDM. And there you go. It's all over the place. And the sad thing is that Moyes is unable to change it. He didn't have any fucking chance, any clue of how to change it because, yeah, he just plays the same fucking way all the time. It just drives you up the wall, mate. Let's go up to Slaughter, the only team. Yeah, mate, it's like driving a car with one wheel missing, isn't it, mate? How can you do that? But the problem we've got is by hook or crook or by luck or whatever, he's getting the results and then he gets more stuck up. He thinks he knows it all. He ain't going to change it, So sometimes results like Spurs are the worst thing because then he believes in himself even more, saying, I don't need a striker now. Bowen scored again. Bowen scored in 6-7 away he goes. I don't need a striker. That was the vibes coming out of David Moyes in the interview after the Spurs game, saying, oh yeah, we might need a striker, might not. I'm not bothered. I don't think there's anyone out there, but we'll keep looking. None of this. Instead, he should have said, yep, I understand. Bowen's helped, but we do need two strikers at least, who are strikers who can help us. And yeah, you've got to have I think him and Tim, the technical directors, are going to fall out. I think they're going to fall out in January because I think Tim ain't going to listen to no more shit from David, and David's probably on the way out in June, won't have a say. But the problem with that is Tim will definitely bring in players that he wants, especially a striker, but I don't think David's going to use it. David's just stuck up. So we're going to have to suffer with this, everyone, till May, June time. It's unfortunate for people who do have home season tickets, away season tickets, spend a lot of money. It's going to be a right shit show all the way through. Definitely an issue there, my man. Definitely. Cornet can play one or two people up front. He can play on that left wing because Paqueta not really used best on that side, so Cornet can certainly do that. And Cornet can certainly play wing back as well, mate, on our left side or full back. He did that before joining Fernley. The problem is it's about confidence, isn't it? Ben Rama has always been up and down in his career, but he's in an all-time low now, and it's up to the manager to pick him up. And you can see that he can't be asked anymore. So you got players that David Moyes has signed, but not used in the right way, and he's lost confidence with them. So they're sitting on the bench. When they come on, they don't want to play for him, right? They don't want to play for him. They've lost the confidence. They need to move him on. And all that's to do with the manager, right? And, I mean, whether we would have lost or not, we'll never know. We'll never know. I mean, 5-0 is a huge drubbing. It's a huge thrashing. But at least, like I said, if the manager tries something new, he rotates his squad, I have more respect. But this just keep doing the same thing, especially because they played Thursday, didn't they? So 2 days, confidence is high. You could see that in the first 10 minutes. We looked all right. We're moving around even faster. And then after that, I don't know what happened. It just fell apart, didn't it? It all fell apart. And as soon as Fulham got their first goal, it was one-way traffic all the way. Absolutely mick, mate. Absolutely crap, mate. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be involved in a relegation battle. Well, it doesn't look like it at this point because we are at the moment. I think we're a mid-table team, about 10th. That's about our position. So as a mid-table team, you're going to win one, then you're going to lose the next, draw, then you're going to win one, draw, lose, win, draw, lose, win, draw, lose. That's how we're going to bob along. We're not bad as lose, lose, lose. I don't think we're bad at that. It's a very expensive team, this is. I don't want to talk about Declan Rice's money coming in as well. But you look at each player, like Kudos 30, 40 million, Ward-Prowse 30, 40 million. Bowen's about 20, 30 million, worth even more in the market. Agar's 32 million. Mavropanos 18 million on the bench. Cornet's 20 million sitting on the bench. Benrahma's worth about 20 million. That's what we paid for him. He's on the bench. It's a very expensive team, you know, much more than Fulham's, right? So they ain't going to be lose, lose, lose. I get that. But are we happy with win, lose, draw? I think we're frustrated because the money has been there, it has been spent, not forgetting Danny Ings, but it's been spent in a really bad way that we've ended up with 5-6 players at the most who are good, but that's just half the team. The rest of the half are shit. So you're going to end up with a mid-table team. And what's more frustrating is the manager doesn't change anything. He doesn't buy a striker. He doesn't play in any other different way. It's just fucking shit. It's bollocks, mate. So there's no excuses for David Moyes, you know. Some managers like Sean Dyche, look at him, 10-point deduction, hardly given any money. He just gets on with it. And he gets every ounce out of every single player, right? And you can't say that with David Moyes because he has been given time to spend every window. The chairman wants him to buy players, but the problem is he either doesn't buy them in the right formation or he buys the wrong ones, or he just doesn't bring them in the team in the right way, or he doesn't know when to sell them. It's just a joke at the moment. I think we're just bang average. I think we're bang average, 10th, 9th at best. That's where we're going to bob along, I reckon. I think looking at the table before today's game, we had a nice 5-point cushion over Chelsea. I think obviously Fulham have caught up now, and we would have caught up with Spurs if we'd won because they have yet to play. So we kind of lost it a bit. And Everton, yeah, they won again and teams like that. You saw Villa yesterday, you know, despite Tottenham losing, the atmosphere's through the roof. The fans absolutely love him. They're on side with him. Obviously with Villa, with their manager, they're playing on the front foot. They didn't give Arsenal any respect. They don't give anyone any respect, especially at home. They go for it, and this is what fans want. And look at it. Every player wants to play for him. Big manager, Unai Emery, known all over the world. That's what you got to do. But with us, like I said, he's been given a lot of windows, good amount of money, good amount of time. He can't even get a settled coaching team. They all leave one after the other. Doesn't use any youth players. And it just goes on and on, doesn't it? Goes on and on. This was the Jimenez goal. This was a Jimenez goal where Kresi ended up kind of marking him, and then he got in between. Then Nagard wasn't marking anyone. So this is my point where at the beginning, forget zonal marking. Everyone in the back four, you pick a main player up, and then the rest of the midfielders can look at the far post, near post, that kind of thing. But what's happening at the moment is, more often than not, Zuma and Agard are not marking or anywhere near the main strikers. They're just standing in empty space. It's just mad. They're just following the space, not the ball or the players. It's mad. Have a look at it on the replay. Richard's in the house. There isn't any point, mate. What I see is cash, recycle cash, get Benrahma, get 15 million, whatever, for Nels. You got a year out of him, get rid of him, get 5-10 million if you can. Kresi, lot of wages. Why you stopped him from joining Wolves? Just empty it, recycle it, bring players in. Danny Ings as well, isn't it? Just wasting players, mate. Absolutely, John. Hope you're doing good, mate. Entertainment, isn't it? That's what we want. We want a bit of effort. We want entertainment. We didn't get anything, mate. Oh, cool. Okay. So hopefully he'll be back soon. He's struggling, and he's playing a bit. I mean, he hasn't got the personnel, has he? So obviously Burnley, yeah, they're kind of We'll stay around in and around bottom place. I don't know which club's going to take a risk on that, mate. We'll see what happens. Oh, mate, it's just boring. Not looking forward to it again, and it's not motivational, is it? Hard to do YouTube shows. Hard to watch West Ham. Absolutely mad, mate. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get with them in the European. Obviously, it's difficult for a European team playing away from home, and I like to think that the prices will be a bit reasonable for that, and the atmosphere will be good. It's an evening game, but again, a lot of games coming thick and fast, really. So we'll see what he does, anything different and things like that. Exactly, very, very slow, mate. Very slow, sideways, backwards, not very quick. That's why we don't really quite know even how good Kudus could be or how fast Kudus is. We don't know because we rarely run at the opposition with speed. We rarely do it. We got the ball, you're told to look back, track back, wait for the people to catch up with you, and it's that kind of thing, isn't it? We're not really seeing the explosive Kudus movement and pace you saw at Ajax, isn't it? I'm sure he can be even better than this, but he's unable to show that in this Moyes setup. It's very hard for skillful players playing for Moyes to really show what they're about. It's a very rigid army type commando setup. Players like Bowen thrive because Bowen's physical, he runs all day for you. But people like Ben Rama, maybe Paqueta sometimes, and other people find it hard to kind of have room and space. And because a lot of it is, if Paqueta's got the ball, he needs players running into space, and then he'll look even better. But if they're not, then he has to track back. They're not quite that passes in there anymore. I mean, you need people like Jimenez up front making those moves that strikers do, running down the channels, holding it up, flicking it back, 1-2s, giving an avenue for the skillful players to bring them in. But when you haven't. There's only one way of playing, isn't it? He doesn't know what rebuild is, mate. It'll still be Kufal and Souček next season if Moyes is around, mate. Ings, I mean, he's on a lot of money, isn't he, Danny Ings? That's obviously been around in the headlines a bit. Souček, again, rumour that he's going to get an extension on his deal. Zuma, we have to manage him. And again, Richard, we do have the second, third oldest team, mate. And we haven't sorted that out in all the windows, you know. I mean, Ward-Prowse, he's 30 years old, but we need to bring that average age down, you know. We really, really do. It's an ageing squad. And again, David Moyes has left himself too much to do again. We had to change 7-8 people in the last two windows, and it's still not enough because there's no work in the previous windows. You know, money was spent, but those players came in and out and they're gone. You know, people like Skamaka has not been replaced. That's criminal for me. We really need to make up our minds what are the key positions that spend the money. But we go into every window. We often don't sign anyone for half that window when it starts. Then we all try to get worried. We all go mad online. And then we begin to think, how come, you know? And then we buy players so late in the window that we're unsure, was that player really on our radar when the window opened? Or we just accidentally come across that deal? Is there any planning involved? I don't think so, because people like Klopp, people like Arteta, as soon as the window opens, they've got their player on day one. Bang, it's done. They've got very fluid the way the owner of the club, Arteta as an example, and then his technical director equivalent, they all work together on the same page quick. Us, it's kind of window opens, nothing's happening. And we're like, what the hell's going on here? Don't we hear rumours of Moyes is saying no to all the options that the technical director and the owner are providing? And it just goes on and on and on, doesn't it, really? You better go into hiding, mate. You better go into hiding tomorrow, mate. Master craftsman of nothing, isn't he, mate? Yeah, so the problem is, mate, we rarely sack anyone during the season. So I think we're just going to bobble along in mid-table position, and we hope we go on a good cup run. It could happen. We could end up winning the Carabao Cup. I don't know. But I don't think even if we win a cup, I don't think David Moyes will stay. You never know with this owners, but I can't see it, mate. And I don't think he's that bothered either. I think he's got jobs lined up with UEFA and people like that, so I think he'll get a job abroad somewhere. There's no issue with that. I think he didn't expect this job to come when it did, and he's really happy. He's made good money out of it. He's won a trophy. His stock's gone up again. So I think Moyes is fine. Moyes is fine with it. The issue is that when you have a manager that more than likely isn't going to stay. What does that do to the mentality of the players? Will they try? Will they not bother because they know he's going to go? A lot of uncertainty, really, but I agree. I think he should have gone after the cup win with his head held high, isn't it? He should have gone in the summer, like Spurs got in there early, so given the manager 2-3 months in the summer, or at least told the manager, even with a month to go in April, start tapping up a manager in April, March, April, tell him that we're going to go for you. Then he more or less tells you that if you go for me, I'll come to you, right? And then he'll start watching the games, and then we're ready to go, aren't we? You've got a new technical director, would have had a new manager in the summer, we would have had all that Declan Rice money to spend. Brilliant timing. The problem now we've got is that I don't know how much money we're going to have in January or the summer. And then obviously that manager hopefully will play in a different way to David Moyes. So a lot of those players won't be much use to him, I don't think, So you've got to think about all of those. And it's just a case of that. It's going to be probably a season written off in the league, unfortunately, and just keep our fingers crossed how we do in the Cups. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. I've always said I don't believe we are as good as some of the results have shown. The performances have been shit. Even though we beat Tottenham, the performance was shit, wasn't it? Or average, yeah. Which people don't see if you don't watch. If you just look at the results, you think, oh, we're 8th, it could be 6th. But when you follow West Ham the way we do, we watch each game, we analyse it, certainly go to the games and get even more of an idea what's going on, then you know that something, we ain't that good. We're average, right? And I think 10th is about right for us in the league, but I don't think that's good considering the money that's gone into the team and considering how long the manager's been here. He's competing against managers that have been like the Tottenham manager. He's only coming in the summer. He's changed half the team. In one window, he's changed half the fucking team. And imagine what he'll do in the next 2, 3, 4 windows. He's got the whole club behind him. They're on the up. All right, they're going to lose because they've lost a few players and injuries, quite a lot. But he'll address that. But the main thing is he plays brilliant football, modern football, which all the fans want. Win, lose or draw, that can happen in sport. But when they leave that ground, they've been entertained and they leave with their head held high. Brave football, which for me is above anything else and equal to results. That's just me. I think that's the West Ham DNA. And Moyes is more than half a decent manager, but his DNA and West Ham's DNA doesn't mix. And long term, you'll come unstuck. I don't think the fans are that bonded to him. I could be wrong. I don't think so. Some managers like Bilic, he had an awful season, first season at the ground. But he's still in our hearts, isn't he? People like Bilic, people like Alan Pardew, obviously John Lyall. Before that, even Zola, we all remember the football under Zola, don't we? A lot of ups and downs with Zola, ownership, no money, but he left that imprint with us with the football that we'll never forget. That's West Ham, isn't it, everyone? We won't remember Sam that much. We won't remember even Moisey a couple of years after he's gone. It's that kind of thing, A lot of it non-West Ham fans can't understand. I get that. It's just what it is. Absolutely right, mate. Absolutely right. Yeah. Oh, mate, I don't know what he is. Yeah, he is, isn't he? He sat there and no motivation, nothing, absolutely nothing, mate, And no strikers to bring on apart from Mabuma, which is too late, mate. Too late. Yeah, I like the manager, Silva. I reckon he's all right. I got a lot of time for him. I know he came unstuck at, was it Everton? But I think he was at Watford before then. I'm all right with him. You're absolutely right, mate. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think we've been fortunate, haven't we? It's been coming, mate. Yep. Absolutely coming, mate. I mean, you look at the fixtures, December, January. I mean, I think we've got something like 3 matches in a row where it's Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, is it? And then you got the cup game, so Carabao Cup as well. So it could get a lot worse, everyone. It could get a lot worse. A lot more games coming, and the squad is short in places. What I mean by that is the players are there, but they're the wrong players, and they're the players that are never used. So we really are only playing with 11, 12 people for the whole season. If you look at it, he doesn't trust anyone else, but they're his fucking players that he's bought. I don't get it. I get it if he came in, if David Moyes became manager of West Ham in June, I would understand saying, oh yeah, half the players are not his. That's why he doesn't want to play them. I would understand that. But they're his fucking players. They've been brought in while he's been here. So why is he cold shouldering all of them? I don't understand it. It's fucking weird. It really, really is weird. Gary. Yeah, it's fucking joke, mate. Joke, mate. Anyway, I'm going to call it fucking 35 minutes. I'm suffering, as you know. I fucking need a rum and coke, I think. I've had enough. But for me, I think this was coming. I have always believed we're an average team. I think I'll leave you with that in your thoughts. I think we're an average team. We're a mid-table team. We're kind of 10th. I think that's about right where we stand. And you can now see that after all the transfer windows David Moyes has had under his belt and the good amount of money the owners have given him, right? That's a fact, whether you like Sullivan or not. It's not good enough to look at that bench. It's not good enough. You got no striker. That's not fucking good enough. There's a lot of 4 or 5 players in that starting 11 today who cost a lot of money and they're not fucking good enough. And that's with David Moyes, right? That's kind of where I'm coming from now. And 10th might be good historically for West Ham in seasons gone in the past. But where we stand today, with the number of fans we're getting for home games, we've won a trophy, and I keep banging on about we've got 5, 6 very good players who are worth a lot of money in the open market, who would walk into most of the top teams, right? It's not good to have a performance like that. Something's wrong deep down. You don't just suddenly lose 5-0 to Fulham away and play like that. I think it's been coming. It's happened. It's a wake-up call for the owners. They really need to start scouting for a new manager as soon as possible. They really need to be kind of proactive, not reactive, I think. We've got to sort this out. It's not fair on the fans. They're getting nothing in return for the money they're spending. They need to be entertained. We're in December, traditionally the worst month for West Ham. We always struggle in December. And we're going to pick up the odd niggle here and there. The injuries are going to come at some point. And we are struggling. And he needs to quickly have a plan or sell those 4, 5, 6 players that he refuses to use all season. And sort the ones out that are in the team but they're not good enough. So there's a lot of problems there. Mavropanos, I've got no belief in him. Agard, he's not good enough at the moment for me, right? Areola, I don't know how good he is overall. I'm not sure. Kufal is over 30. Emerson has hit 30, right? Souček, I think he should be on the bench more often than not. I think if you're looking for a top 6 finish, Souček as a regular, I'm not sure about that. We've got no strikers. Issue there, right? Kudus and Bowen should be on either flank. We need a new number 10 or a number 10. We don't have it. I don't regard Paqueta as a number 10. Paqueta is at best a CDM and he's got a lot of skill on him, right? I don't think Paqueta is that number 10 behind the striker. I can't see it. We need a 10 like Maddison. We need a new striker like Solanke or someone like that. Then you push Kudus and Bowen on either flank. You've got Alvarez as one of the CDMs and then perhaps Paqueta with him. And then Ward-Prowse and Souček, you rotate them as and when needed. Need younger fullbacks. Need another set. I think we need 2 centre-backs now. I mean, Oggy's old. Zuma has to be managed game to game. And some games like today, he struggled physically. Agard is shit. Mavropanos is shit. Just look, all that shit. I've not made this shit up. I've not made this shit up. Right? Look at it. There's a lot of problems. And like when he gives the keys to the new manager's going to think, what the fuck, mate? He's been there 4 or 5, whatever, 3, 4 years. It's a fucking lot of issues. Good things, obviously. Kudos is good. Bowen is good. Paqueta's good. Alvarez is good. So, yeah, 4, 5, 6 really, really good players. But then half the team has to be fixed. So there's a lot of work for Tim to do in the upcoming transfer windows. And obviously, hopefully, when a new manager imminently arrives, whether this season or in the summer. So I think, unfortunately, everyone, it's going to be that kind of season where we're going to win, lose, draw, win, lose, draw, win, lose, draw. It's up to you whether you're happy with that or you're not. Some will say we've seen it worse in the past. We used to go down regularly. Mid-table, what we're moaning about. We just won something. We're in the semis of the Carabao Cup. We could go even into the semis or final of that tournament. FA Cup the same. We're still in the Europa. So you got to weigh it up, right? But for me, like I said, equal to, and perhaps more importantly, and I could be stupid saying this, I want to be entertained. I wouldn't mind if we're 10th, as long as we really try playing good football and it doesn't come off and it comes off and it doesn't come off. I'm fine with that because that is the West Ham DNA. That is West Ham DNA. For me, more than the position, it's about performances for me and entertainment, playing football the right way. That's why I'm really, really piss bored watching David Moyes football. That first half at Spurs, fuck you know, mate. That was painful, mate. That's painful, and I get lower and lower in motivation watching this, and probably same for you. It's just fucking shit, mate. Right, I'm going to read a couple of more comments, and then let's see what happens. Yeah, but we have spent that kind of money on a lot of players. It doesn't work. If we sell Ben Rama and Cornet, that's the money for him. We'll get that money straight away. But we got to be proactive. Either ship these players off loan or at least sell one of them and recycle the cash. We're so slow at everything. Moyes is so slow at fucking substitutions, formations, signing players. Everything is just so slow at this club. I think the technical director, I like to imagine that he does things differently. We've got to do things quickly. We should have that list ready now. When that window opens, bang, 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 we're in it. And then we need to quickly make up our mind. Do we have the money? If the opposition club are saying we want 20 million, we got to think in our mind. Have we got 20? You don't start bidding 10 and then 11 a week later, then 12 in the third week, then 40. We can't keep doing shit like that. If it's 20 million, bang, here's the money, like Mr. Klopp. And bring the player in. Stop chasing players that don't want to sign for you. Stop haggling prices that take fucking months to sort out. Everything is just so slow. And I suppose the positives, we do have a good team, half a good team. I suppose that's something, isn't it? A really good half good team. But we've got something to work on. It's unfortunate that in the past the windows have not been used or maximised to the best ability we should have, really. But it is what it is. Either new manager comes in and he gets something out of Cornet, Ben Rama, Fornals, Danny Ings. I doubt it. But you never know in football, you know. Agar needs to be coached again, and a lot of things. Yeah, that's one of them as well, mate. And the other thing, mate, is are they motivated to play this way? Sometimes you're mentally tired. You don't want to listen to those orders over and over again where the attackers are told, you know, instead of the attackers being told like Harry Redknapp used to, go and show me what you can do. You're terrific. Go and show me the skills. I love it. I know what you can do. Pat on the back, right? Like Klopp does. He tells his people to just defend. Fuck you now. Mentally, you're just not the way to play football, is it? No, we were never going to do that, mate. Yeah, I know, mate. Anyway, thank you, everyone, for watching. Keep subscribing. We're getting close to that 2,000 subs. So, yeah, please share and subscribe. Well, have a nice Sunday. What's left? I might have to dig in for the rum and coke today. I think I didn't want to, but I think I need it following West Ham. Probably catch a bit of the Spurs, Newcastle. Two teams that do play good football, or certainly... yeah, got something about them. So I'll watch that game after this. But yeah, you guys have a good evening and we'll catch up in the coming days. So come on, you Irons. Let's replace David Moyes. Fuck's sake. Seriously. Take care. Have a great Sunday.